made it. We are a wee bit early. We didn't hit any traffic, so it's 9:10. It doesn't open till 10 o'clock. So we're gonna go find the queue, if there is a queue yet, stand in it and pine for cake and coffee. Coffee is very important. So, but we're here. First.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah, beautiful weather. So, check in again soon.
He peg moves occasionally when he's not potting now. He's taken potting.
Oh, they're opening the doors.
Going in the other side.
They've got in.
Go on. Go on.
Good luck. Thank you.
Have a good day. You don't need two rides, do we? No. Okay, I'll get two for life. Okay, right, you carry on, I'll get two. Hello!
Thank you. I've lost him now. There he is.
He'll be there. Good luck with him.
Where's the
car? Here.
Morning, how are you?
Morning.
I was trying going that way. I was going to go in the other door. No. I was going that way, dear, because I thought we were going to come and draft first.
That's true, yes.
Right.
We always come in this way first.
Right, okay. Right.
Is open. We're here. We're in. Time for coffee. See you in a bit, guys. Sorry.
My phone out of the way. Just poke me.
Totally digital.
Sorry?
Totally digital.
I'm happy.
Sorry.
Try not to get you in it.
does. Yeah, quick start. Yeah, okay.
So we're based on Kingfisher Park, about 5 hours drive. Stop wall, no plastic.
Excellent. That's good news.
It's good news.
We've also got so all of the different plants we've got. The mittens in there are
That's nice. I have a feeling that someone's going to say so.
just for weight.
It's tempting to get one of those just to try it. I mean, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Same to you.
Sometimes it just go like that and it just grabs it.
The worst one's on the end, so you're going to say,
Well, most of them are. That one's just a screen round.
no, you're all right.
What I like to do is you see that I don't like that because I'm so red.
Friday, probably be May, if not earlier than that, because you won't be doing anything anyway, because you're just going to be leaving.
It would only make sense if I didn't come.
Yeah, which I think was what you were working on, was you decided I would come on the Thursday, and then we'll just go down on the Friday. And that was the logic, was you decided you'd be busy and wouldn't come on the Thursday.
Quick capture, just wait for 20 seconds for it to warm up.
Oh, yeah.
I understand what you're getting at.
I don't know that one. I think. No.
But they are the same.
No, I like
blend
that.
of fibres that comes off.
That's lovely. And hang on, haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Do feel free to take a card if you like.
Were you at their Christmas ball show?
As well. Yes. So yeah.
Because I thought they recognised it.
Yeah.
Gorgeous colour, isn't it? For stuff, yeah.
Let me try and get like catching people in shots.
You're gonna leave it tomorrow, aren't you?
I might be in trouble. I might be in trouble. Based on what?
That's class, which was how my head exploded. I don't know what to do. It was amazing. Super fast turnaround. I did because I was in the middle of moving house. And I just said, oh, I'll just apply, do a handful of shows to the middle of the gallery.
There you go. Oh my god.
I took a look at shop techniques recently, and there was a comment in our sales team like, oh,
Did you want to go past?
Oh no, I actually was looking at this.
I was trying not to get people in it if I can help it. But out of respect for people.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I've made my selection, thank you. I can have those, please.
I love them together. I love this like 3D line.
chicken. It's right.
Pretty sure you said that last year as well.
Probably.
That's like big Siberian. Siberian teachers.
Didn't realise it was a store.
The one I bought from last year. They are cute.
I would need to double check.
Sorry. Ah. What I bought last year. Cast it on. Does that count? There we go.
We got everything here.
But
DK way. What size was it?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, because that's the one doing the Downton Abbey advent calendar.
Nice.
This is the bit I walked down Europe for.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hello everyone, I hope you have enjoyed my little montage at the start of this video of the day itself at WonderWool. I will start by saying I did not get quite as much footage as I thought I would, mostly because it was so busy, so I couldn't record some of the stalls because they were so busy, which was great for them, but I was not going to get in the way and shove my camera in there, so I hope you've enjoyed that bit. Now we can get on to the haul. Would anybody like to guess how much yarn I have bought in grams? Like, please, put your guesses in the comment section below, and then if you got it right, reply to yourself, edit the comments. But there's a lot. You may have seen my the little bit right at the end of the montage where I go, oops. So this year we took a trolley with us, a little black trolley, to carry stuff. Mostly it was to carry things like drinks, coats, if we decided to take them off during the day. I ended up filling it. There were still the coats and stuff in there, and my project bag and a couple of other little bits, but I filled it. So we shall start with the all-important question. Did I follow my own ban / goal for the beginning of the year of only buying one set of minis for every 2 sets that I used? And since I've only used 1 set this year so far, did I buy any minis? Surprisingly, I haven't bought any minis. However, that was not because of my amazing amount of willpower. There was 2 sets of minis that I almost came home with. 2. Unfortunately, they didn't have any of the fingering weight base left. They only had the DK minis. And as someone who uses majority fingering weight minis for myself, I kind of weighed up the options and decided that there wasn't any point in me bringing back DK weight minis because they definitely wouldn't have been used, and they were not the kind that I could have just gone, I'll just make some gnomes with them, because yeah, which was quite disappointing with the 1 set. If you saw in the clip, I found a pack of minis inspired by Six the Musical. As somebody who loves my Tudor history, I do quite enjoy Six the Musical, and I found the minis that were based on the 6 Wives, based on their costumes for the theatre production musical, but they only had DK left, which, yeah, I'm bummed about. But and the other set I found, I cannot remember the name of the stall. I didn't actually get a video of them because they were so busy. They had a set of muted minis, I think was the name of it, and it was kind of like a muted fade in greens, but they only had DK weight left of that set, so kind of disappointed. However, I've managed to stick to my no buying minis. I did have the devil on my shoulder trying to convince me to. And while I was at WonderWool, I also happened to meet somebody while I was there. I met Ange from Yarn and Yarns. I forgot to take a picture with her. I know she got a picture of us. I forgot. I'd already been there for about 4-5 hours at that point. So I was starting to lag at that point, but yeah. Shall we jump in? Shall we start with the relatively boring purchase? The kind of the necessity purchase, as it were. I bought a load of extra needle tips and cables. Yeah, 2 extra cables of the lengths I'm forever running out of, and then my 4 most used needles, which I'm forever running out the tips for. I'm tired of moving them from project to project to project, so I bought another one of the 3.5, 3.25, 3.75 and 4mm. Could I have bought this from Wool Warehouse? Most likely. Did buying it this way mean I didn't have to pay shipping and I didn't have to add extra yarn to my basket to meet free shipping? Yes. Have I now found out that I have to place a Wool Warehouse order anyway? Also yes. But that's the boring one. There is also sort of technically another boring one. I bought some more wool wash. So this is from a new company, Yarn Food. They had a stall in Hall 3. And although I have about a quarter of a bottle of Eucalyptus left, I decided that since this was only about, it's only 50p more expensive, but it's supporting a small business, it's made in the UK. I also think this is technically a slightly bigger bottle, but I have bought this. It smells divine. It is the tea tree smell, tea tree oil one, and it's for the sock wash. So this is a natural no rinse formula, which is how I wash my socks anyway, because that's what Eucalyptus is. So we shall see how this goes. It smells great. Yeah, supporting small local small business. So and then we get into the slightly more exciting things, starting with this. So when I met Ange from Yarn and Yarns, she was giving these out to the people that she'd met. I have opened this and then realised I should open it here. While I was there, I also I spotted the tea in there and was like, oh, my favourite tea. So I shall start by getting that out. I am really weird because I really like the immune support tea. It's just, I love the flavour, I love the fruity warmth of it. I happily drink this year round. 9 times out of 10 in the evening before I go to bed, I will have some kind of like green or fruity teas, like caffeine-free tea. This is my go-to. Love this. I will be drinking this tonight while panic editing this, or hopefully I'll have finished editing by then, but I will be drinking this tonight before going to Dublin, because why not? I will say I actually checked earlier. I had actually run out of this, but because I haven't been shopping because of going to Dublin tomorrow morning. So the time of recording this section, it is the Sunday 26th. So technically at the time of recording, WonderWool is still going on. People are still walking around and buying stuff. I've left my watch upstairs. Sorry. So yeah, it's about 1:20 at the moment. So, but yes, random thing, but yes, this is my favourite tea. I am weird like that. This is, yeah. So it's blackcurrant and raspberry with elderberry and see, it's a name I can't pronounce, but it's delicious. It was luck of the draw. She just kind of pulled one out at random, and that happened to be what I got. And then there's this. I love this. This is amazing. When I saw it in there, I thought it was hand knit. Having now pulled it out, it's, I believe, woven. It's a little woven mug rug. And it has a little progress keeper on it, which is so cute. And this is now going to go and sit on my desk. I would put it on my side table where I sit in the living room. However, it'll get the best use on my desk. So I think this is so cute, and the fact that there is handmade items in these little is very generous and very thoughtful, and I love this. I also like how it seems to have it's like two-tone, like this side's darker than this side, and I think that's so cute and so cool. So I am not a weaver. Something I would like to learn one day perhaps, but to me this is black magic and I love it. And then there is a little card. So, oh my god, that's her hand spun. This is hand spun. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god, Ange. I'm lost for words now. I don't ever think I want to put this on my desk now. I think I want to frame it. Oh. I'm just going to put that very, very gently behind the camera. So last year I did all of my purchases in sort of chronological order of the order I bought them. That's not going to happen this time. Usually I do one full pass and basically don't buy anything except maybe some stitch markers. I bought the needle tips on the first one because I already had a list of what I wanted for those, but on this occasion I didn't do that. A couple of the things I bought was because they were in the bargain baskets, so they were kind of impulse purchases. So this time is kind of just going to be as it comes out of the bags. However, I happen to have here the first purchase I made of the show. To the point that I was this stall's first customer of the show, because you get a raffle number with every purchase, and I'm raffle number 1. I needed some more progress keepers so that I could attempt to start keeping track of where I am on projects so I can show you. So I stopped by Loret's Crafts. I now have 3 of the WonderWool tags. This one's got 2026 in them. So I have 2024, 2025 and 2026. So my first purchase, this wasn't the purchase, you get this free with your purchase, but I got 2 sets of progress keepers. The first ones my partner spotted, and my partner has a thing for ducks. He has about 7 duck ornaments on his desk. So I bought the duck progress keepers specifically for projects made for him. So there is a little mommy duck and 4 little ducklings. They are adorable. I'm going to take good care of these, and one of these is going to go onto his sock so I can keep track of where I am. Which now reminds me, I'm currently wearing my partner's Jones cardigan. He was wearing this yesterday. He's currently mowing the lawn. He took it off, put it on the side. I got chilly just as I was about to start recording and decided I'm just going to put his cardigan on. So that's what this is. It's his Jones cardigan. It fits me, but it doesn't fit me. I can't. Well, I can button it, but I might end up taking someone's eye out. So yeah. Then the other one, the Loret's Crafts, the sets of stitch markers were, I think they were 2 for a certain price. I think it was like, I think they were £4 a piece or 2 for 6, something like that. And next to the ducks, I spotted these. They're dinosaurs! They are little dinosaurs. We have, if you've seen, you probably will have watched the footage. I was wearing my Run and Fly dino dress yesterday, and all of these dinosaurs are on the dino dress. So we got a little T-Rex, we've got a little T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, Pterodactyl, and Diplodocus. So yes, I have some more stitch. Well, they're technically supposed to be stitch markers. I'm going to be using them as progress keepers. Hopefully these ones don't break. They look a little sturdier. They look a little, the round bits that attach to the light bulb markers look a bit thicker on these than the other ones. However, it was mostly my fault that the other ones broke, so there is those. And now I have no idea how I'm going to show these off because I bought more progress keepers. These were from All's Wool That Ends Wool. These were, I don't mind saying this because they weren't that expensive. I don't usually talk about the cost of stuff, and you won't hear me talking about the cost of the yarn, but these were £2 a piece or 6 for 10. So of course I got 6. And the only reason I bought any of them, I'm going to use the packet that they came in as a background to help show this. It's a little T-Rex skull. This is so cute. I absolutely adore this. Yeah, it's so cute. I love it. Absolutely love it. And now I'm going to put these back into the bag each time so I don't accidentally show you the same one twice. And then having spotted that one, I've spotted more dino themed ones. So there's this little guy. Absolutely adorable. I think he's so cute. Then there is this one. It's adorable. And this little guy. So there was different colours of these ones. For some reason I decided to go with the yellow. I'm not sure why. Yellow's not really my colour, but I went with the yellow. They also had, I think, a Diplodocus in sort of these little clear 3D ones. I went for the Triceratops. I also got a tiny little purple duck. That one was for my partner. And because I have been playing a lot of Balatro recently, it's a cards game on Steam. Poker crossed with solitaire-ish. I got a Ace of Hearts marker. She had a bunch of other card ones. They were all aces, I believe, of the different suits. I went for the heart because I was there with my love. So, even more stitch markers, or stitch progress keepers. So, realistically, I have no excuse not to put these on my projects to make it easier to show you where I was last week, but we'll see if that actually happens. And then I believe this is my last non-yarn. No, I have another. I have two more items that were a non-yarn. I went there. I was hoping to find a couple more pairs of stitch stoppers, and I found these ones from a shop that was doing mostly cat themed. They had loads of like sock patterns around cats. They had pins, badges, stickers, stitch markers, lots and lots of cat themed stuff. And I spotted them. I was like, I'm coming home with a pair of these. These are the little black cats. I found this stall after meeting Ange, because if I'd seen this stall before I'd met her, I would probably have pointed out they have orange cat ones. So I hope she stumbles across the stall and finds the orange cat stitch stoppers, because they are adorable. I also got these. So it is rainbow cat paws. These I just love these. These are amazing. I'm probably going to put these on a colourful project because they're adorable. They did have a lot of other pride flag. Are they called pride flags? Like, I know this is the pride flag. They had a lot of other of the. I'm sorry, I don't know what they're called. Are they the different pride flags for the different groups? But they had those as well. I went for these because I support Pride. I support all of that. But this is the only one I can identify as being the Pride flag. I don't really know the other ones. I'm showing my ignorance though, I am sorry. But I like these are cute. So, yeah. Love these. I'm sure now that I've shown them off on here, they will end up on a project in about 10 minutes. I'm going to pop that there next to the hand woven thing. And now, one moment, I need to debubble wrap these. So, while there, I've decided, so earlier in the year, I broke one of my mugs. So I needed a new one. I tend to cycle through 5 different mugs. And usually by the end of the day, I have 1 mug left, so. When I broke one, I ended up running out of mugs every day. I tend to have a lot of drinks, so I tend to leave drinks about. I don't just use them for like tea and coffee. Half the time I end up putting things like juice into a mug because it's easier. So I decided I wanted another mug, and I decided I was going to have a look at what Siobhan's Crafts had. They tend to have a lot of adorable mugs. Me and my partner have matching mugs from there from a previous year. From the first year we went. I bought a Harry Potter themed one last year as a gift for a friend. They didn't have, well, they had 1 Harry Potter mug left when we got there, but it was the same one as I bought last year. And I was like, personally, Harry's not my favourite character. I would have preferred Hermione. But I'll start with the mug that my partner picked out for himself. And that's this one. It's a dragon with yarn. My partner collects dragon models. We are both kind of collectors, not hoarders, collectors. He's got a lot of dragon ornaments, so he got the dragon mug because he thinks it's adorable. And after I finished here, I'm going to go give these a wash so that we can use them. And then I spotted this, and I'm sure you can work out what it is if you've watched the clip from earlier. It's Jurassic yarn. It's Jurassic yarn! This is so cute. Oh, I love this. They did have this in a lighter colour, so it was less in your face. I liked this one. I preferred this one. I think it is adorable. I like the fact that there is a skeleton T-Rex knitting with bones. It's so cute. And of course, the knitting has little hearts in it. I love this. I absolutely love this. I'm going to go give this a wash later, and I will probably be drinking this out of it later. So, I love this. They are amazing. And now, just to keep them safe while I am talking about yarn, I'm going to put them back in the bubble wrap. So, one moment, please. And I'm back. So, this year I went with a plan, and I've left the book over here. Sorry, one sec. I went with a plan, and I was like, I'm probably not going to buy yarn for everything in here. And while that is technically true, I didn't end up buying any undyed yarn. I didn't end up buying a main colour for the colourwork project for these minis. They also didn't have the fluff I wanted. I got yarn for everything else in here. And on top of that, I got 2 extra sweater quantities on top of that. I've bought 4 sweater quantities of yarn, plus single skeins to add to other sets of yarn to finish or make enough for garment size projects. So we're going to start with the smallest quantity of yarn I bought, And this does not count as a mini because it's an entire project. I was wandering around the one place while my other half was having a sit down and a rest, and they must have known I was coming because it's a little broccoli amigurumi. Broccoli. I would happily eat broccoli with every meal. I love broccoli. You know, just plain, steamed, boiled, raw. Yes, I'm that person that eats raw broccoli. Leave me alone. But I saw this and I was like, hey, you're coming home with me. So it comes with everything you need. So it does technically have like, I suppose technically you could class these as minis, but because it's for a specific project, I'm not classing them as minis. But it is just a simple cotton yarn, I believe. They did tell me. Let's see if it's on here. It does not say on here. Does it? No. No, it doesn't. But, I can't show you a bigger picture because of the fact that the pattern is on it. But yeah, it feels like cotton yarn. I'm pretty sure they said it was cotton yarn. So, but it's a cute little broccoli. I'm looking forward to making this up. I'm going to make this as a Christmas ornament to put on my Christmas tree because broccoli. In my defense, I was left unsupervised. My partner was having a sit down and a rest. He had his earbuds in and was just relaxing, just having a moment to decompress. I was left unsupervised. I bought a broccoli amigurumi kit. Let me just find the other two, like, single skein. Well, there's 3 single skeins here. So one of them is for a pair of socks. The other 2 are to go with quantities I already have to make a complete garment with. I'll start with the sock project. This is the only yarn not bought for me this year. As mentioned in my goals for this year, I'm aiming to be a more selfish knitter this year to make more stuff for me. So basically everything bar this ball of yarn is for me this year. But every year we go, I always end up buying at least a skein of yarn to make socks for my other half. It's kind of his reward for doing all the driving because I was passenger princess. He loves the opal yarn. He loves the feel of it. He loves how it looks. So there is this one. I'm not sure what the colourway name is. I know it's from the Funny Fruits collection. Given its blues, and this label is really beaten up, it's been taped back on in 2 different places. It's a varieties of blues, which, yeah, blue's one of his favourite colours, so he picked this. Well, I say he picked it, I kind of spotted it. I pulled out a couple of different options and this is the one he picked. We did have a look at a couple of others. I did say if he wanted a couple of others he could have them. He only wanted this one. This is the only one he really liked. He's like, there's a couple of others that are okay, not 100% sure on them. So we have this one. Going by the different fruits on the front, I'm guessing this is blackberry. Because there's a banana, a pear, a strawberry, an apple, a lychee, a watermelon, and a blackberry. So so just from the deduction, there is the name of it on here technically. It's in German. Trübbandsjungisch. I have completely butchered that and I'm aware of that, so yeah. But this is for him. This is going to be a pair of socks. It gets to join the queue to go with the rest of them, but I've got a lot of blue socks to knit him. And now we get on to the mass amount of yarn for me. So, oops. We shall start with the single skein that I had in the book that I wanted to find. I was looking for a skein to go with this quantity that I've got left. So I've got 2 and a bit skeins of this left from a previous project. Want to make a tank top with it, but I did not have enough meterage for what I wanted to make. I kind of needed another, basically 3/4 of a skein. And I knew the Woolly Tangle did the same base of 50/50 merino silk. Thankfully they did it in DK as well as fingering, so I don't actually need to hold this double. But I ended up picking up this skein to go with it. So this is the skein I bought. This is the skein I already had, the colour I already had. I wasn't looking to colour match this. I knew I wasn't going to colour match this. I was specifically looking for something that was a contrast but not clashing. And with the help of my partner, we picked out this. It works really, really well. They work together. So this will be like the ribbing, the armbands, neckband, and I will probably end up having like a stripe or some like mini stripes throughout just to give me the length I need. So yeah, I have that one. This was just a single skein. This is all I got from the Woolly Tangle. And the colour, which would be helpful, is Verdigris Blue? Verdigris Blue? I think it's Verdigris Blue. And it's the Superwash DK 50/50 merino and silk. And it actually feels exactly the same, as you can expect from it being the same makeup, but sometimes you can find they're rougher than others or softer than others. These feel the same. Like, these feel exactly the same. So, right, I'm going to put this one back up here, and all the yarn is falling over. Also, if you're wondering, do I have enough space in the yarn stash to put all of this? The answer is I haven't got a clue. So, and then the other single skein I bought was something I actually needed to get, but I'd forgotten to write it down. I actually forgot about this until I spotted the stall. When I went to WonderWool last year, I bought 2 kind of big 200 gram, like not even skeins. They're like they're loops. They're like this. I bought 2 of these last year. With the intention of making a cardigan. I even bought the buttons. After I got home, skeined them up, did a bunch of calculations, measurements, I realised I had nowhere near enough for what I needed. I would not have been able to make a cardigan with it. So I had the intention of buying another ringlet when I got to WonderWool this year. I'd forgotten about that until I spotted this stall. So I've got this to make. It's just going to be a stockinette cardigan. It's like a 3-colour striped cardigan. This is grey. In some lights it looks like it's got like a slightly bluish green tint, but it is basically grey. Like, there was no way that I was going to get the same dye lot if I took samples of the other colours to try and just get another skein of one of those, so I deliberately just bought one that I knew would just contrast with them. So I got the grey, so it'll work, it'll be good. And it's DK weight, so it should work up fairly quickly. These are 200 grams each. That's now 600 grams of DK weight yarn to make a cardigan, which I will probably get that skeined up or caked up and start on that cardigan ready for when I have surgery, just so that I have plenty of stockinette back and forth all round and round knitting. So that was the only other single skein. That's it for like the single skeins or small quantities of yarn. Like, that's it. I now have 4 garment quantities of yarn. However, I'm first going to go and change the battery because my battery is about to die and I don't want it cutting out again. So, oh, we're back in a moment. And I'm back. So, we're on to the main 4 sweater quantities of yarn here. Oh, I wanted to say, technically speaking, I've only bought 1 new to me yarn to try. Every single hand dyer I bought from this year I've purchased from before. Usually I try to buy from a new dyer, at least one, to try. This year, I don't know whether it's just because of what I was shopping for and everything else. I ended up, and I realised this when I got home, I ended up buying from dyers that I'd bought from before, because those were the colours that spoke to me. That's not to say that there wasn't loads of amazing colours out there, or there wasn't a load of amazing yarn, but for some reason I just ended up buying from ones I'd bought from before. Shall we now get into the yarn? Where shall I start? You know what, let's start with the blue bag. I can't count, there's 5 sweater quantities here. Oh my god, there's 5 sweater quantities of yarn. I suppose technically 2 of them are t-shirts, so not a full sweater, but there's 5 garment quantities of yarn, plus the 2 single skeins to finish up 2 other quantities, plus, oh my god, I've got so much knitting to do. Oh dear, what a shame. Right. Let's dig into this, shall we? Right. This yarn. This yarn, I specifically went looking for. I knew what I was looking for. This is to go with the virtual yarns that I have left over. This is to make the Maywick. I was looking for Shetland yarn for this. I kind of knew what I was looking for. I did have a look at some of the other dyers about. Just to see if I could find any like 100% Shetland yarn. I couldn't. So I kind of knew. I knew there was going to be 2 stalls there that sold a Jameson style of yarn. Like there's Jamesons and Smith, and there's Jamesons of Shetland. I ended up going for the Jameson Smith, and I got. So these are 25 gram balls, and I got 3 of the white, optic white, which is more of a cream colour if you ask me. It's not true white, it's more of a cream. I also got 2 of the brown. This is more of like a, I'd call this like a mocha brown colour. It's just called brown, for brown. This is one Optic Whites. And then I got this light green. It does have like some tones of blue and like a bit of brown in there. But this is 1280 mix. I'm guessing the colours, the numbers are their colour, and the name is just to sort of help work out where to find it or what it is. But so that's 7 25-gram balls. I think I forgot to mention this is also 25 grams. So I have this. So this is to make myself a Maywick by Gudrun Johnston, which was a pattern gifted to me by a friend for my birthday. Here is the colours. There is the dark green to go with it. I wanted there to be enough contrast between the 4 colours, so I had a little sample of the green with me. I originally chose these 2 and then was looking for another colour to go with it. I looked at a couple of greens, but they were either too light and close to this colour or too dark and close to this one. But I didn't want to go for another pale colour. A couple of people that I was there suggested maybe a yellow. I thought that would make the dark green look stand out too much. And given that's not contrast, it's the main colour, I didn't kind of want it to either overshadow these 2 or be completely lost because of those 2, which is why I went for this brown colour. It's light enough that it doesn't just sort of blend in with the green. It offers enough contrast with the green as well as with the other 2, so that it makes enough contrast, and I think it'll look really good together. So that is all of that. I have no idea how I'm going to store these in my stash, because these are kind of mini skeins in a way. But yep, I do like that these came in 25-gram skeins, because I only needed 50 grams of these 2 colours. But working it out, I needed 55 grams of this one, because there is slightly more of these. I think I worked out it's actually about 60 grams. So I had to get 3 of these, but that's fine. It does mean if I want to, I can make the jumper a tad longer. Because I think I have probably a couple of stripes extra in these 2 colours. I've got at least half a skein of this extra, and about half a skein of the dark green is extra, just from the way the quantities worked out. So that is the first of 5 sweater quantities. 5. The other 2 in here definitely weren't planned. The one yarn will probably not come as a surprise to absolutely anybody who knows me. Even my partner was there going, well, we all know you're going to get some of that, because you get some every show you go to. It's your favourite base. You like to stock up on it. So it's not a surprise that I had to go to Creative Anarchy and get some of the Borgies base. So this is my favourite base. I think it's Borges. She did tell me again. I forgot again. But this is the 80% superwash merino, 20% silk, high twist yarn. You get 366 meters per 100 grams. And I have bought a t-shirt quantity. For some reason, I only make summer garments out of this. So this is going to be a t-shirt. I haven't quite decided what pattern I'm going to use yet. I might go back to Old Reliable and make a Tolster tee, but I'm not usually a red person. I don't usually buy red, I don't usually wear red. It tends to make me look quite washed out, but I think I can kind of get away with this, especially if I use this as the rib colour right up by my face. I don't have a pattern in mind for this. It's going to be a t-shirt. That's about as far as I've got. There might be some stripes of this. I might add some lace. I don't know yet. I did have a look at maybe doing something like, is it the Skyline tee? Where you make the shoulders and then you pick up like the fronts, and thinking of maybe doing like the shoulders in this and the ribbing, but then the main body in this. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably cast this on in the summer. I will also say, I've already used the other quantity of this I had that I bought at the Christmas yarn show. This base doesn't last in my stash very long at all, because I buy it, I use it, and I buy more. So this, although it's not priority 1 for me to get cast on, realistically it's not going to be sitting in my stash for very long. This one, it doesn't last very long. Like, I'm sure by the time I go to the Christmas wool show in November, this will be gone and I'll buy more of it, because every year, multiple years, this is the 4th quantity of this I've had. And I've only been to 4 shows that she's been to, so it's a guaranteed sale at this point. The colourways. So this is Little Red Velvet Cloak. I'm kind of guessing this had something to do with the Grim Fairy Tales advent she did last year. So that's this red. I think it looks great, it looks lovely. And then the other one is 7 Little Cups. I don't get that reference. It could also be from the Grim Fairy Tales, I'm not sure. But it's this very kind of icy blue with purple and some red specks throughout, which is why I kind of picked it to go with this, because the kind of the red specks kind of tie together. My partner tried convincing me to just buy 3 skeins of the red, but knowing what red is like on me, I didn't want to buy 3 skeins of red, make an entirely red t-shirt, realise it washes me out and never wear it. So we're going to start by playing it safe when it comes to red and adding a colour that I know suits me. But do I call it sweater quantity or garment quantity? We'll call it garment quantity, because it's not a long sleeved, but it's definitely not a single skein project. So and then the other one, this will probably also end up being a t-shirt, because I only bought 3 skeins. But gently come out of the bag, please. Thank you. This was my final purchase of the show. I went back for this because I was still thinking about it. And this is from Lottie Knits. And this is the they look great. I love these. So she had a lot, I think they are zebra yarns, because they've got like a black thread running through them in certain areas. Little Bird Sock Marl is the name of this base. It's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And technically speaking, this middle colour comes from the Moody Rainbow collection, where all 7 colourways can fade into each other. And to be awkward, this is part 4. This is the middle colour. However, I kind of liked this with this one, but I didn't want to go like this way to make a fade, so I went this way, and I realised that doesn't technically work because the colour that ties all 3 of these together is the pink. So there's the pink in this one. This colour is passion fruit. Then we go into the Moody Rainbow part 4, which is cerise and teal. So the blues into the purples into the pinks. And then this colour is bilberry, which has new recipe next to it, so I'm guessing she used to sell this, but due to maybe changes in dye, what she can get hold of, the recipe's changed slightly, is this one, which is the pinks and the purples. But I couldn't stop thinking about these 3 yarns together. I was ready to just head on home at and just say, well, I've bought a lot of yarn, we should probably head back. And my partner, knowing me, was like, what are you still thinking about? Because you don't sound content just yet. I was like, well, I'd got a picture of these. I was like, I'm still thinking of those Lottie knit yarns that you got a picture of. You know, I liked the 3 of them together. And he went, just go back and buy them. Little devil on my shoulder. Couldn't get me to buy minis, but managed to get me to buy 3 whole skeins of yarn instead. I don't know what's better. The 100 to 200 grams of minis I tend to come home with, or the 300 grams of yarn. But hey ho, hey ho. I've definitely got lots of work to do. So, as I said, I don't know the pattern for those yet. T-shirts, maybe a long sleeve, cropped item. I'm thinking I'm going to go for something like a faded t-shirt, because I cannot make a long sleeve garment out of 3 skeins for me. I need at least 4 skeins, more likely 5 if I want it to be full length. But that's bag number 1, and that's 3 garment quantities of yarn. 1 planned, 2 definitely not planned. Or should I say, 1 planned, 1 a given, the other not planned. And then we have the other bag. I would like to say there's only 6 skeins of yarn in this bag, but there's not. There's 8 skeins in this bag. There is 800 grams of yarn in this bag. I've just shown you another almost 8 other skeins. I'll give you the calculation of how much yarn I've bought at the end, but do I regret buying any of this yarn? No. Am I now currently waiting for payday in a few days because I'm going on holiday and I'm like, yes, my bank account is definitely whimpering at the thought of me going on holiday after just going to a yarn show, but you know. Okay, let's talk about a planned garment, shall we? Planned, but not quite what I'd intended to buy as the colour palette for this. So I went shopping hoping to find yarn for a wool weft. This was also a gift from a friend for my birthday, the pattern for this. And to be honest, I was not expecting to find this. I was getting to the end of my first pass and I hadn't spotted anything that kind of worked with the vibe I was going for. I was going for a sort of moody green palette, and I was like, it'll be fine. If I can't find anything, I'm not just going to settle. I want to make it something I will like and I will wear. I was going through, we were walking past, and a specific skein of yarn, a specific colourway, caught my attention, and I was drawn into the stall. So the stall was Dina's Home of Crafts, and I spotted this skein of yarn, and to be quite honest, if I hadn't have found the 3 other colours to go with it, I probably would have still bought this skein to make myself a pair of socks with. So this is on the 75/25 superwash merino nylon fingering weight base, and this was the, oh, that's coming out more blue on camera. This was the skein that caught my attention. This is what drew me into the stall, and it wasn't even like up high, it was actually down low. We were walking past, I glanced over, and then my partner was like, where the hell's she gone? And I was looking at this. So this colourway is called Teal. It's looking more blue on camera, but it is slightly more green. It kind of sits in the realm of what people will be like, that's blue, that's green, that's blue, that's green. It sits there, and it is very saturated. It is very heavily saturated. It is brighter and darker than my partner's sweater that I'm wearing, cardigan. So I spotted this. I fell in love with this colour. It's not usually my sort of colour. I like greens, but I tend to like things that are green, not could be blue. But I fell in love with it. I don't know what it is, I loved this colour. I thought it looked really pretty. So, because I was trying to be cautious of what I was buying, look how that went, I was like, I wonder if I can make the wool weft with this. I am going to have to sort of crop the body, each section, ever so slightly, because I am 15 metres away from the recommended meterage. I'm thinking if I just leave out 2 rows of stockinette on each section, I should be okay. But I spotted this. This drew me in. So I was looking to see if I can make the wool weft with it. And then I spotted this one. This is Petrol. These are all the same base, by the way. Petrol. It's definitely a green, but with sort of some very, very slight blue undertones, which works quite well with this. I then picked up another green that was lighter than this, called English Sage, but I couldn't find a 4th colour that worked with it, that was like solid or that worked. I picked up a grey, but I didn't like it. I picked up a grey, but I didn't like it with it. And then my partner, Craig, he pointed to this one. This is Sand Dune. But it kind of stuck out next to the, with the other one, like with the English Sage. I didn't buy English Sage, spoiler alert, so I can't show it to you. But I found that it kind of, this didn't work with those 3. And then I believe it was Dina herself saw that I was struggling, saw that I was trying to work out colours, and came over to help. I showed her a picture of what I was looking for, like the sweater I was making. Kind of gave her the vibes, you know, because she did kind of point to one colour. Like, it's too variegated and speckled for what I'm looking for. I'm looking for sort of semi-solid tonal, you know. This does have a couple of specks on it, a few very, very light speckles, but we're talking like literally just a few where a bit too much dye sort of seeped in, but it is basically a semi-solid. So she suggested a couple of different colourways. She kind of held up these two with the English Sage and then a different colour, but I did say this is the sticking point. This is the colour that drew me into the stall and that I've kind of fallen in love with. So she's like, okay, what about these three? And then, because of the style of it, what about adding this? So this is Vintage Rose. And I love this. I kind of fell in love with this palette. Because of how the Woolworth is, this will never touch this. Even though I think they look okay together, although that's kind of coming off a bit. They look a bit better on camera than they do in real life, like next to each other. I think having them in like this sort of order, so teal into the petrol, into the sand dune, into the vintage rose, is going to work really well. It's going to look really good. I haven't decided if I want the rose up here or the petrol, the teal, but this is the order basically. I love these colours. They look amazing together. They're going to be amazing together. I'm now really excited to cast this jumper on. I have basically told myself I need to finish one garment project before I'm allowed to cast this on, specifically because this project requires the same set size needles as 3 other projects I currently have on the needles. So I need to finish one of those before I'm allowed to cast this on. So, but just these colours look amazing together. I'm going to see if I can get a picture that more accurately shows this colour, and pop it here. But this is just, I love this. I'm so excited for this. I have to tell myself that I do need to finish one project first before I can cast this on. So this won't get cast on realistically until after I have my surgery, but I'm so excited for this now, and hopefully the friend who bought me the pattern, when I show him these colours, he's going to say, that's so you, I am now so excited to see you finish that, because yeah. For those of you who don't know, I really like green and pink. I don't tend to wear that much pink, other than say like this t-shirt and the Roots hoodie I've got. I don't really wear pink, but I think this, given it's not going to be an entire garment, I think this is going to look amazing, and he's going to say that these are so me. So I do need to send him a picture, so hopefully the picture I get will show them to their best advantage, so I can send it to him and show it to you guys, because these look amazing and I'm so excited. But I need to finish one garment first. Okay, I cannot have 4 garment projects all using 3.25mm needles. So, and I know technically speaking I would start this on a 3mm for the ribbing at the neck, but let's not go there. And then the last garment quantity of yarn. So technically speaking, my first yarn purchase was this skein. This So I bought that basically straight away because I was looking for it to go with something else and they didn't have many of that colour left and I liked it. I decided to just get that because it worked. Like, it's not the main colour, it wasn't the main focus, so this was my second purchase, and it's because I found this in the bargain bin. They don't want to come out the bag. Sorry, hang on. Well, that took longer than planned. So I found this in the bargain bin. So I didn't want to risk these colours going because I liked these colours. However, the reason I got this specifically from a bargain bin is this is boucle. So this is 100% superwash merino fingering weight boucle yarn. And I've never used boucle. I kind of have used a boucle style, but it was a long time ago. It was a 100% acrylic kind of. I don't even think it was called boucle, but it kind of resembled. So I've decided I wanted to try boucle, but I didn't want to pay full price for yarn if I then ended up not enjoying it. So did I still end up realistically spending a lot of money for a sweater quantity of yarn? Yes, but I can justify it because it was from the bargain bin. So this is from Pigment and Ply, another dyer I've used before, or purchased from before. So this is in the bargain bin. I specifically found these three. So this is the colour of Vessel of Chaos. And yes, my partner already made the joke that I am a Vessel of Chaos. So I found these, given it's a fluffy boucle, I was like, I kind of need another skein. Because realistically, this is a jumper. This needs to be a jumper, a long sleeved jumper. I do have 450 meters per skein, but still. So, but there was only 3 skeins of this in there. So I did kind of have a good route through both baskets to try and see if there was one more. There wasn't. However, there was a couple of other. There was about 3 or 4 other colours of the boucle. There was one that had this purple tone, but it was a lot darker. However, it didn't look like it would be a contrast colour. It looked like would have bought 4 skeins of the same colour, but one was a very different dye lot. That's the kind of look it had, due to the similar tones found in the two. There was another one, which, while it sung to my heart because it was green, didn't really work with these. It was too, almost, I wouldn't say clashy, but it wouldn't have really worked. However, there was, and I'm pretty sure this was the only skein of this in there, or at least by the time I got there. There was this colour. This is La Bohemiana. I'm probably saying that wrong, but so this is a lot of like peachy beiges with some greys, yellows, oranges. But it does pick out some of the like the orangey yellow tones in these skeins and sort of the peachy tones. So it looks like it's actually supposed to be contrasting with this rather than clashing with or a different dye lot of. So I have I have 1,800 meters, which should be enough to just make a simple stockinette, basic, probably a raglan jumper, for the purposes of trying boucle to see if I like it. We shall see. It does feel very, very soft. It does feel very nice. My issue is going to be if I can work with it in my usual way. So everybody has their own style of knitting. I knit tensioning the yarn in my right hand, but I'm not like, I don't sort of wrap. I have my fingers sort of out, almost like the way some people tension when they're a continental knitter. That's kind of how I do it with my finger, and then I kind of like, and I'm quite, but some people have said that boucle can be a lot harder to get the tension right. So it might require a little bit of trial and error, we shall see. But this is just going to be a stockinette garment, like a stockinette jumper, just for the purposes of trying boucle. It feels like it's going to be amazingly warm. And I'm so glad that there is enough pink in here that my partner won't wear it. He's already said it feels so fluffy that he might have to pinch it, so that is my yarn haul from WonderWool this year. There is more meterage, well, more grams here than last year. Last year I think I came away with roughly 1,600 grams of yarn to make 6 projects, I think it was. And I have technically 9 projects worth of yarn here. As I said, 2 of them were kind of just to finish bulking up what I've already got. This one was to use up more, although technically speaking I bought more yarn than I had. So it's more like I already had a contrasting colour to go with the main sort of thing. But I have exactly 2,000 grams of yarn here. I've bought 2 kilograms of yarn. So my stash is currently whimpering. My stash stats. So before I went to WonderWool, I was still negative overall for the year. I'm now in the positive. I am 600 grams in the positive. And I've already purchased 400 more grams of yarn. No, more than that. I have my May Super Effect fibres. That won't arrive till May, so that's fine. So, but I bought an extra skein of that this month, or technically for next month, because it's one of my favourite bands and I wanted I wanted another skein to make another project with, not just for the blanket and the scrap project that I'm using the leftovers of that for. I also bought 400 grams, I think, from Chromatic Yarns, from her Stardew Valley collection, which is due to arrive at the end of May, I believe, end of May or end of June, one or the other. I'm also going to have my monthly yarn club from Super Effect Fibres going on as well. So, and I'm considering buying an advent calendar that I saw. I can't remember the name of the person off the top of my head. Is the... So, from the Crafty Bird, who I've bought from previously, but it was long before I had the channel. I happened to spot her leaflet for this year's advent calendar. And I picked up the leaflet and I was like, oh dear, oh dear. And then she was like, would you like to see the prototype? I have a picture of the prototype if you'd like to see it. And I was like, you show people that? And she was like, it's an investment, it's a lot of money, you know. Like, there might be some changes, there might be some tweaks, but I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to, like, go into this, like the colours. But she showed me the prototype for the weekly and the daily. And, like, you could just see me going, oh dear. So, the Crafty Bird presents this year's, or 2026's Advent Christmas at Downton Abbey. This is gonna hurt. So Downton Abbey is my comfort TV show. I watch it, like, I've watched it all the way through at least 4 times. Whenever I don't feel well, or if my head, so I have mental health issues. Whenever my head is in such a place that I feel like absolute, I put Downton Abbey on, because when my head's in that place, I will just sit in front of the telly and vegetate. And most of the time, like, there is sad points in Downton Abbey, there is high points in Downton Abbey. All I have to do is watch this all the way through. I have a good cry, I have a good laugh, I'm happy at the end of it, and that's my comfort series. Having seen the prototype, I'm just, there you go, in my bank account hurts already, and so is my stash. So, yeah. I now have to go and pre-order an Advent. And this will be my first Advent. My first yarn Advent. So, like, how's my stash looking this year? I need to finish some things. I need to finish some things, and I need to get knitting. So, with that, I don't regret any of this yarn. I do not regret buying any of this yarn. Like, I save up for this throughout the year. I put money aside for this. Like, I joke about my bank balance crying. I joke about all things like that, but, like, I save for this. The money goes into a separate savings account, specifically for when I go to yarn shows. Like, all of my bills are already paid, you know, I work hard. This is what I get. This is what makes me feel better. You know, this is my hobby. You know, at the end of the day, all of my bills are paid. I have money going into multiple savings accounts for multiple different things. And this is my hobby. My partner has his hobbies, you know. He buys electronics, he writes code, he buys video games, you know. He buys Lego, you know. This is mine. And at the end of the day, yeah, I don't regret any of this yarn. And so long as it gets used, which, you know, my yarn gets used. Like, realistically, there's not that much stuff that's more than like 4 years old in my stash, and the stuff that is 4 years old tends to be larger leftovers from big projects, or stuff that I'm trying to find stuff to go with it. So, you know, at the end of the day, everybody's stash should be the size they want it to be, the size they feel comfortable with it being, and at a level that they can afford. Like, if you are going hungry because you need to buy yarn, then, you know, maybe look at that. But at the end of the day, my stash is at a level that I'm happy with, I'm comfortable with, and that's how it should be. Everybody's stash is personal to them. You know, you do you. You know, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. Buy it. So long as your bills are paid and there's food in your belly, you know, buy what makes you happy. And this is what makes me happy. I will joke about everything, you know, about my stash stats and crying and whimpering and bank account crying, but at the end of the day, it's not. This is my hobby. This is what makes me happy, you know, and that's what it should be for everybody. Hello, I'm jumping in here because I'm editing this video and realised I'm about to sign off this video, and I have forgotten to talk about one really, really important thing. Yarn Show Bingo! The game I created for my partner to play while we were there, to keep it interesting for him, to keep it fun. There will be, I shall move over, a graphic to put in here that he's in the process of making to make this easier. I'm going to be glancing at my phone just so that I can talk about these things. I will start by saying I forgot to pick up the sheet with the Yarn Show Bingo on before we left, and I realised when we were halfway through Kidderminster. We were going through Kiddie City Centre, or skirting past, and I went, I forgot to pick up Yarn Bingo. Thankfully, I could access it off OneDrive, and I ended up making it in Trello to make it easier for him. And that turned out to be a really good idea, because Trello offers the option to add pictures to the boards. So while the picture will be here for you to see, I'm just going to glance at the phone just to mention it. So these will not be in any particular order. They're kind of here in a random order because that's how he's dragged them. But I am going to start with the very first one, the very first picture that I know he took, because we were sat down. He sat down, we were about to have coffee and cake. Or he was going to have cake, I didn't have cake. And he pointed to one stall and said, "You've bought from there before?" I was like, "Yep." "How many times?" "1." "Awesome." So he got the bonus point. Except when he took a picture, he goofed up and took a picture of the stall next to it. So the picture is of the stall he took a picture of. It's not actually one of them, but I'm going to let him have it because he did talk to me about it first and then took the picture and stuff. But the stall he's taken a picture of was called the Shepherd's Hut. And when you look in the picture, it's all fibre. It was for spinning. So I couldn't even just go, yeah, I definitely did that, because zoom in and it's all fibre. It's all braids of fibre. There's not a single skein of ready to knit yarn there. It's all fibre braids or packets of fibre. He goofed up, he derped it, but we'll let him have it. So box number 1 ticked off. And now I'm just going to go to the top of this list and work through it. But I'm going to try and keep this a relatively quick fire, because I'm pretty sure this video is already nearly 2 hours long. But Gnomes. Gnome. So specifically Gnomes by Sarah Shearer. There was many gnomes they spotted. A couple of them he was like, I want to get a picture of it, but it's too busy, so he didn't. He tried to take pics that didn't have people in as best he could. So if the store was too busy, he didn't get a pic. But he managed to get a picture that actually includes 2 gnomes in the pic from River Knits. I've just got a message from my friend who I need to send a picture to about WonderWool. But yeah. So he got the gnomes from River Knits. So he got 2. That's not a bonus point. He only gets the 1. But ticked off. Then we have the Stephen West, one of the Stephen Wests. So there was 2. So there was the shawl, as well as the mystery shawl in one, and then there was the socks and petcoat in another. There wasn't any petcoats around that we could see. We were both keeping an eye out, couldn't see any. There wasn't really any dogs there except guide dogs or support dogs, assistance dogs. There was plenty of dogs left in cars in the hot weather, because there was plenty of announcements over the tannoy informing people that they have a dog in distress in their car. But we'll gloss over that fact. The fact that made me really angry. But so he did find some Stephen West socks. Funnily enough, on the Stephen and Penelope stall, but the picture has 4. So that's another one ticked off. No bonus point, unfortunately. He didn't max out his points, but we didn't see any, so it was a bonus point, and the reason it was passed as just a bonus point was because I wasn't sure if we would find any, but yep. The next one was a crocheted garment sample. Now, there was plenty of like crocheted garment samples around. It took him a while to find one that he could definitely confirm was crocheted. So yeah, this was also deliberately had to be a sample on a stall. He couldn't just take a picture of a random person. It had to be a sample made for the stall on display. And this one was, if I can zoom in, is a sample of the Iris Blossom Beach Tunic. And unfortunately, the picture does not have an indicator of what the stall is. I'm pretty sure this was a crochet designer's stall, so I will look that up, and if it is, I shall put it somewhere for you. But crocheted garment, done. Wild card. So he did complete all 3 on the bonus. I did have to give him a lot of help on the wild card though. And for the wild card, he took a picture of a knitted emotional support chicken. But Sasha, emotional support chicken was on the normal board. Yes. Yes, it was. But I shall find it. Well, you'll be able to see it because I shall show you. He found an emotional support crochet chicken to put in the emotional support chicken category, because he realised this was going to be difficult. So he definitely worked out that that was crocheted and the other was knitted, and so I've made 2 knitted emotional support chickens, but I haven't crocheted one. Could they be classed as cheating because he's used a chicken for 2 of them? Suppose yes, technically it could be classed as cheating, but we'll let him have it. The next was something blue, and once again I can't tell you who this is. I think, don't hold this to me, it was a sample on the Bird Street Yarns stall? Maybe? But something blue. I did kind of have to tell him that it had to be majority blue because he tried taking a picture of something that just had like blue edging, and I was like, no, majority blue. But something blue, ticked off. This was, surprisingly, this one was a hard one for him to find. Not because there wasn't plenty of samples around, but because it actually took him a long time to realise this is colour work. So, colour work. This is the picture he took for that. And that's because near the end of the, nearing the end of the show, he was going, I've still got 3 to find. And he's like, one of them was a pattern I'd knit before, so wild card. Colour work. And one other that I can't remember which one he was struggling with, but I was there going, colour work, colour work, colour work, colour work, colour work. And I was like, oh, so that's what colour work is. Yes, dear. Yes. Colour work is when you take 2 different colours and you make a colour work. He was tired. We'll let him off. Then we have the amazing rainbow shawl. This was a moody rainbow. So, and I think technically it's in a picture with an Andrew Mowry jumper underneath it, but he did find one of those. And I will show you that now. And this was at the Pigment and Ply stall. Yes, Pigment and Ply stall. And I know this because one of the ladies from my knit group also went to WonderWool. I met up with her there, and she bought this yarn in the same colourway to make this pattern. So, Andrew Mowry. Then we have just 2 left. Just 2. So we have the Dino Distraction. Yes, he took a picture of the mug. He got a picture before I picked up the last dark mug, so technically speaking, he has 2 dinos in that vid, so yep, definitely achieved the dino district. There was plenty of options, like there was a yarn cozy you could have taken a picture of, there was bags, there was the stitch markers, there was stitch stoppers, there was a lot of things. He found that one quite early on, so. And then finally, he managed to find in Antidote Yarns one picture that covered both shawls for the Stephen West. So there was the Stephen West shawl, and then he got a bonus point if he also found the Mystery Musical, which was last year's Mystery Knit Along. And he found both and got them in the same picture. So technically both of them are mystery shawls. You've got the Go-Go Dynamo and the Mystery Musical. But he spotted both of those and went, oh, they're both Stephen West shawls. Are either of those the mystery shawls? I was like, well, technically they both are. And he was like, but is one of them the one I need? Maybe. I didn't exactly make any of this easy for him, but I kind of did make it easy for him because I was offering plenty of help. So, yeah. He got bingo. He achieved bingo. He got 17 out of 18 points. And that 18th point was not really possible because it wasn't there. We couldn't find one. I couldn't see one. He didn't find one. And if I couldn't find one, he wasn't going to find one because he'd have had to have asked just to be sure. Or unless it was one of the ones that was really obvious. So that is Yarn Show bingo. He achieved bingo. I'm now going to go and order a prize for him. So, yeah, just to keep it fun, keep it interesting. You know, he was a good sport, he played along, he was having fun. So I'm going to go and order something for him online, probably. Might be some Lego, might be something else, I haven't decided yet. Probably won't end up buying that until we get back from Dublin, just because I don't... Sorry. Just because I don't want it arriving while we're away. So, yeah. I shall now send you back to me from the past to do my sign-off. And, yeah. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this special episode of the Yarn Hoarders Crafting Podcast. I hope to see you next week with a regular podcast episode. There might be my super effective fibres at some point if I can get the other 3 squares finished. But with that, I will leave it here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a wonderful time at WonderWool if you attended. I hope you had a wonderful weekend if you didn't. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.